Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday. This is Dr. Welling. This is going to be part 2 of a series. I don't know how many of the series I'm going to do. This is in regards to intimate relationships and how to begin to fix them or try to get a closer relationship with someone that you want to have a closer relationship with. And these are just ideas. But I really want to emphasize that you cannot fix another person. So if the person is not willing to do these things with you, it's just not going to work, and you cannot blame yourself. You have to look at the fact that the other person wants it just as much as you do, and they're willing to work with you to achieve it. I also decided that when I do relationship type of videos, I'm going to wear my purple hat. I don't know, just an idea. Purple is a very healing color. It's supposed to be a pretty much serene, peaceful type of color. So I think that was a good idea that I wanted to do. So the first thing I want to talk to you is you have to have healthy communication. And I tell this to all my couple counseling clients. I cannot emphasize enough with the importance of using I statements when you want to communicate with somebody that you want to form a closer relationship with or heal. Everyone has this terrible, terrible habit of feeling like they're being attacked. And when we use the word I, it becomes less of an attack and more of an expression. Right away, somebody's wall will go up if you go, "You created a horrible feeling inside me when you showed up 20 minutes late from picking me up from work." Right away, the other person's going to get defensive. They feel like they're being accused of something, and the defenses go up, and it's probably a full-out argument from there. However, if you say, "I felt abandoned and scared when I had no way home. I wasn't sure. I was frightened." Those are things that you have to own up to. And I used to use, and sometimes I still do, I kind of watch myself, but I used to use this insane example in my practice where I used to go, "Well, what if, you don't respond in the same way as everybody else?" Because nobody responds in the same way. I am positive that most everybody responds to just about everything differently. And I used to use this bizarre, out, wacky example about how a serial killer, may not feel remorse. You would. So you have to own your feelings no matter if the other person created them or not, because another person may look at that and said, I don't care. I don't really care about that person, so I'm not really all about him showing up on time. I'll just get somebody else to pick me up next time. So remember that. Own your own feelings. And when you try to heal a relationship, I need you to approach that person that you want to heal or form a healthier relationship with and kind of become closer with them. And you ask them. And you use I statements. You basically say, I would like to get closer to you, but I feel humiliated when you call me these names in front of people. And if the person wants to work with you, great. If not, you can try maybe talking to a counselor, or if they're resistant and the person doesn't want to talk to you or they refuse, pastor, mediator, coach, relationship specialist, life coach. There are tons of people out there that can help you get or form a healthier relationship. If that relationship is worth getting closer, I would say with family and stuff, that probably would be more so than if you're going into a relationship. And I thought I would bring this up at the end, but I think I'm going to move right into this segment about red flags. And guys, I always look at my little book here, and I wrote some things down. I wanted to make sure with red flags that everybody was able to kind of just take in. But the exercise, the first exercise I want you to do is to jot down how you would communicate with that list I gave in the first one of people that you want to have a closer relationship with. Pick one or two and form a little plan of how would I approach this person, and form the sentence of how you were going to use. Remember, practice makes perfect. Already develop, I'm going to say I, and I'm going to use it in this way. So you're prepared. Where are you going to talk to this person, when you're going to talk to this person. And when you figure all that out, it just goes a lot smoother. But there are some hindrances to this. If the person is using drugs or alcohol, the chances of healing this relationship are pretty much slim to none, because we all know that drugs and alcohol numb a person. A person is unable to be trusted. They're unable to be close to people because their base personality is no longer there. Their true self is gone. So the drugs, the alcohol, that's all talking, and the real person that's in there is not. I would tell you, most likely that is not going to work. You don't want to talk to a person and try to become closer with a person if they do not, if they're not totally sober and you're able to communicate to that person's core and not to the drug. I think everybody can relate to how it would be if, you're out of it and you're talking to somebody that's out of it. They're not going to make sense. And they're probably going to say a lot of hurtful things. And it's just not worth your talk to, like I said, a psychotherapist, a relationship specialist, a mental health consultant, life coach, anybody. But, let them guide you on how to become closer with that person. Because it initially has to begin with the other person getting help. So here are some red flags about a relationship. There are many women that have gone through several, probably many relationships that involve abuse, whether it be sexual, physical, emotional, spiritual. And you begin to become a habit. And I teach women to do the red flags, and I'm sure some of you have heard this before, maybe some of you haven't. And you get a list, and yes, sometimes I ask you to do actual physical activity because, again, if you can look at it and your brain processes differently than most, your visual, your hearing, kinetic, which is moving, we all learn and it settles in different ways. So I actually want you to write it and visualize it and see it on paper. So here are some red flags. Person asks me, well, how do I know whether or not I should even get into or try to get closer to this person? Can I end it before I get hurt? My answer is yes, you can. It just takes a little bit of work on your part. This is the following. I'm going to use this example. If a woman has been abused over and over and over and over again, the first red flag she wants to look for is he wanting to know who I'm with? Is he wanting to know where I'm going? Is he wanting to know what time I'm coming home? Is he texting me 30 seconds, 1 minute past the time I'm supposed to be home? That's very obsessive compulsive. That's a red flag. And the second one is, this I found a lot in my prior relationships, and it took me a long time to heal myself and be able to see what I was in for and see right into the future and how this relationship was going to end up. A person or a significant other, whether he or she, begins to badmouth your family and friends. That is a key, because they're trying to alienate you from them so they can keep control over you. That's red flag number 2. The third one is criticizing you over everything, the way you look, the way you dress, the way you go, where you work. You could be a size 2 and you're too fat. You could be, I had a situation one time where I was real thin, then I was too thin, and then I was too fat. There was never a happy medium. That's a huge, 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 huge red flag. The fourth one is very narcissistic type. They talk about themselves. They shut you out. I find this actually, someone currently, but I'm able to form that emotional, physical boundary. And that is so important. And all you ever hear about is what they're going through, what's happening with them. They never listen to you, because when you say, I told you the other day, they look at you as if you're a liar, because they have focused so much on their self, they haven't left room to think about another individual. And so could you imagine if you got sick or you were in a car accident, that person would skip on you so fast because they live for themselves. They don't live to help or be close to anybody. They don't have the capability because they're too involved on thinking about them. So that's a big indicator. Of course, I already said drugs and alcohol. That's a pretty one. Run. Run if the person that you are currently dating begins to either overdose or uses excessive amounts of drugs. I have a different opinion on marijuana, so I'm not even going to include that in that category. I'm talking about hard drugs, heroin, cocaine, meth, those type of things. This is another issue that's interesting for me. Boy, I hope this person watches this video. Is they don't want to be seen in public with you, but they want you in their eyesight constantly. They don't want you to go anywhere, but they don't want to take you anywhere. They want to keep you bound up in the house, and they want to make sure that no one else sees you or can actually tell you that what's happening to you is wrong, because they're fear of being found out of what they're doing to you. So that is a big indicator as well. They don't want to be seen in public with you. That's a problem. I would always tell you that this is a lot of the symptoms for codependency personality too. It appears that the person that has all these red flags, or just 30, 40, 50% of them, wants you to always take care of them. You're not that person's mother. You're supposed to be in this relationship together. And so my last statement is, if you do not feel safe talking to a person and then a counselor, if you feel like your emotional or physical boundaries have been crossed, if you feel like they've been using too much drugs or alcohol, any of those type of things, I would spend less time with these people, if any time at all, and spend time around supportive people that want you to do well in life and to achieve your goals. It is so important for us to be surrounded with positive people. The negative people will continuously rule our lives, because there's a part of many of us that want to help people see the light. That's part of many people's human nature. The problem is you can't make people see the light. They have to see it on their own. And I encourage you to realize that about yourself. You can advise somebody on what to do. You can maybe drop some hints, or I say plant a seed about maybe going to a counselor or a pastor and getting an idea of where to get help. But you can't fix somebody. You are not a fixer-upper. We are not fixer-uppers. We are not people that go in and do construction work on other people's emotions and feelings. We're here to do construction work on ourselves, not other people. So I want to tell you that I'm going to continue this series. You'll know that it's a continued series with the purple hat. I will put that in the title. I want everybody to make that list of people, then write down how and what you're going to say to this person. Write down some characteristics that may or may not encourage this person to actually engage in the healing relationship, for it to become more intimate and closer, and decide whether or not you're going to take it to the person, or maybe take it to a counselor or a third party that I had mentioned earlier, mental health, life coach, relationship specialist like myself, and say, I need some help deciding on where to go with this, and make a whole plan, and then make the red flag, kind of like I just said, make a list of red flags that you may see. If at any time, this is the big indicator, you don't need me to tell you what's unhealthy. Your gut tells you. If you're sitting in the car and a comment was just made to you, like I had a guy about 25 years ago tell me out of the blue, because I had a tumor in my pituitary gland. He said, "Why do I get all the sick ones?" I had this horrible knot in my stomach. Like, did he just really say that? Like, I could really prevent a tumor from developing on my pituitary gland? That's an abuser, and that's a red flag. And your gut will always tell you that this isn't right. The problem is many of us, men and women, we don't trust our gut. We think that there's something wrong with us because we have been raised to believe that there's always something wrong with our decision making or what we see in another person. So we question ourselves, and we have to stop doing that. So a counselor is basically going to tell you to trust your inner gut. I want everybody to enjoy Hump Day Wednesday. It's almost the end of the week again. I cannot believe it's going that fast. It was just the 4th. I want everybody to stay safe, walk in hope, keep light and love in your heart, always keep fighting. And remember, there's always a solution to every problem. I'm going to leave my link below. As I've said in other ones, I'm going to charge a $15 what I call plan of action. I give you a mini assessment. I send it to you through email or on here, messenger, and I tell you a plan of action, whether it be, work with a relationship specialist. You can choose to work with me. You can choose to work with somebody else. That's not what the assessment's for. The assessment is to get you on the right track, whether it be career, whether it be relationships, whether it be anything in your life that you need to change, whether it be finding your life purpose, whether it be trauma. That's what I'm here to do, is to help you form a plan. I'll put the website for the booking and scheduling within the information. And again, I'm signing off. And guys, have a safe day. It's warm out there, and keep cool. I will do another video on relationship, and have a good day.